never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. He's from the city, she's from the south. Two different chapters told miles out. The back row living in his White House. So many stories that I need to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. So many stories right in front of me. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many falling down off their feet. These stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Tiptoe around with face of a stranger. Quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. He's from the city, she's from the south. Two different chapters told miles out. The back row living in his White House. So many stories that I need to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many.
Round 2, Wednesday WHAM! Hosted by Scott Wakefield!
Oh my!
Glad you're wearing that
show it
mask,
off this
dude.
time.
Is that like amplifying your voice with the mask? Like some kind of
Thank
ninja?
you.
See, I get louder with the mask on, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Sub-Zero.
It is Wednesday night, and you, viewer, are right where you should be. This is Wednesday Wham. We are Silverline, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, Tim, for that great introduction.
No, leave the mask on. Why'd you take it off?
Please.
The pattern is no longer full.
Yeah.
We will be talking about martial arts tonight in comic books, and we'll be talking about everything and anything. If you've watched our show before, you know how it goes. There really are no rules. And we will introduce ourselves as we go along. We have a new face you might recognize, maybe, I don't know, but we'll get around to him and make our proper introductions. This first half hour and this next half hour and the next half hour and the next half hour are all brought to you by Daytona Beach Comic Con. So thank you, Daytona Beach Comic Con, for supporting Silverline and supporting our live streams. Folks, we also have a Kickstarter campaign running as we speak. We have 2 titles. We are running another double feature. We have Teen Beetle, and I keep wanting to say, it's Switchblade, right? Yes.
Yep.
Switchfoot.
What did I say last week? Switchblade, we've got 2 great stories on Kickstarter going, and those are complete stories. So head over there, maybe not right now, but in a little bit, go over there and back those projects. And what you're doing really is you are just ordering those comic books because they're complete, they're ready to ship, and that ends this Sunday. So it is funded. So anybody who's backed and any further backers, you're going to get your comic books. Now we're just working on stretch goals, all those goodies and extras, and we love stretch goals because that means good things for Silverline. That means more titles coming down the line. And the reason we do double features is because we have so many great stories we want to get out there. So we run 2 at a time. And that way you can get as much Silverline as we can possibly create, as fast as we can possibly create without going crazy. And I say all of us going crazy, but Roland puts in the lion's share of work for our titles on Kickstarter. So thank you, Roland. Next, write this down. Go to Zazzle.com/store/Silverline Comics. Or go to Zazzle and search Silverline Comics because we've got all the cool merch. And I'm going to point down this way on my screen because Brent Larson is down there on my screen. And he's looking cool with a Silverline shirt. Well, the shirt is looking cool. And Brent's doing okay. All right.
Brent's all right.
The shirt certainly helps. It helps. So you can grab shirts and mugs and other goodies with the Silverline logo. I love our logo. Those are all there. And at about the halfway point, you can stay tuned. We have a review from Wayne. He always does a great job, and I love his reviews because then you know that is that a good title for me to spend some money on. So that is coming up. As I said, our topic tonight is martial arts in comic books, and we will try to stay focused on that as best we can. I see. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Tommy's got it. Tommy's just I'm scared. I am.
That's all I know.
Yeah, I got one of these.
I'm not sure you know that either.
I got a ninja.
Better be careful.
Ninja chop. And a Judy kick.
It looks like you're about to work out a knot on someone's shoulder. Very
Ninja
good.
masseuse.
Over to the left. Yes.
All right, folks. Let's say hello. I'll get the ball rolling. And Dean, I'll let you go last because I would. Oh, what? Fine.
Oh, and what?
I'm here. I'm here. No, I'm here.
Dean,
Also add your favorite martial arts.
I will let you go last because I would like you to give a extended introduction for yourself and tell us all the things you've been working on and you've worked on. I'd like to talk about every title. All right. So my name is Scott Wakefield. You can see it there, hopefully on your screen. I am the co-creator and co-writer of an upcoming title called Steam Patriots. It will come sometime soon. I also work on and help out with publicity for Silverline. So if you are out there and you've got a show, a podcast, you do reviews, you write, and all that sort of stuff, we would love to have some of our creatives on your show, like to contribute and talk each other up. So that would be a great thing. So reach out to us, and we'd love to talk, especially to the indies out there, and we can help each other as best we can. And I also like everybody on the show to say where we are geographically, because we generally have a pretty good mix. And I live in beautiful Western New York, coming from you almost smack dab between Buffalo and Rochester, in the snowy wasteland that it is right now in the winter. And that is me. I will go over to Tim, and then over to Rory, and then down this way, let's say to Tommy. Okay, Tim, go ahead.
Hi, I am Tim TK. I'm the associate editor at Silverline and the producer of our Wednesday night show. I am also the resident banshee. John Martin wants to know if everyone's awake now. So hopefully. And Roland says if we had John and Haley, we'd be able to play Hollywood Squares with our titles. That is correct. I am the writer and creator of upcoming title Wolfhunter, World War II espionage action. And I am in the now snowy mountains of Oregon.
All right. I'm going to go to Rory and then Tommy.
Hello, I'm Rory Boyle, coming to you from the balmy North Florida. Kind of gave us a zig then a zag this morning from 35 degrees to 75 degrees. Co-creator of Steam Patriots, along with our illustrator Scott Wakefield. You can find me anywhere you can find him.
Just about.
Or just close behind.
Yeah. And I'm going to go to Tommy in our center square. I'd like you to introduce yourself as if you were Paul Lind, okay? Anybody? Okay, thank you. That's good, Tommy.
Did I do it?
That's good.
My name is Thomas Floramonti Jr. I've been a comic book creator since early 90s, worked for a bunch of folks, including Marvel, Malibu, did some little DC stuff, some Image stuff, some stuff for Chaos Comics, some stuff for just about everybody. I also do my own books under the Inferno Studios name, whatever, I don't know what you would call it, publishing name.
Jiggy.
All my kid hero stuff like you see behind me, but more cartoony stuff for all ages kind of books. I love to do cartoony stuff. But currently, for Silverline, I just got done inking the Trump's book 1, and that was kickstarted a couple of months ago. It's out now, and you can go to Indie Planet to order those if you missed the Kickstarter. And right now, I am inking, and here I go. I'm going to mess it up. I am inking the Silverline team up book featuring Champion and Miss Fury.
Well done, you got it.
Did I get it right? Okay. Yep, right. And maybe after Mr. C. Michael says something later on, we may tell you about a surprise. So, and then also, I'm working with Mr. Dean on some projects too. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. I'm going to go over to Brent. Then
I'm from Orlando, and it's hot.
Thank you.
There you go.
And the chat is applauding getting the title correct.
Yes.
Yeah, Roland's got to shrink that down. Can I just keep calling it Champ Fury and leave it at that?
You're gonna make Roland.
I can remember that.
Champ Fury.
Champ Fury. Never mind. Go ahead. My bad.
All right. I'm Brent Larson. I am the creator and writer of the Silverline book Kalis, which I'm happy to report the 4th issue is halfway inked, and we're going to be doing starter for issues 3 and 4 together in just a couple of months, hopefully. And I'm also the writer-creator of an upcoming Silverline book called Cape Town, which I'm actually excited to report is now in production.
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool.
All right.
And I'm also in Orlando, which today there was a breeze and it was amazing.
It got to be about 80. Didn't it turn 80 today?
You know when they say
Too hot.
like like the weather app likes to tell you what it feels like, which
Right.
I want to ask him, how do you know what it feels like?
You're right.
You're not
Feels
here.
like to whom?
It felt cooler than 80, so I thought that was pretty sweet.
I annoy my kids when there's a mention of room temperature. I always say, "What room?"
Which room? The bathroom?
My kids, oh, Dad.
Yeah, that's not funny. Dad joke.
What do you know, Dad? You're the number 4 dad.
Oh yeah.
John Martin has a recommendation for titling team up, calling it Fury Champ.
You're just gonna make me say something else wrong.
Yes.
And Roland says the Cape Town script is really good. You're gonna love it.
No,
All right.
Cape Town. Yeah.
All right. All right, C. Michael Lanning, go for it. And then, Dean, we'll let you wrap up the intros. All right, go for it. Call me C.
All right. I'm C. Michael Lanning, a freelance artist who's also doing pencils for the Silverline book Rejects, which is coming up. Also, I co-anchor a morning show on Friday talking about mainstream and indie comics. Get all the news over there with Kickstarter and things like that. And plus some upcoming projects I've got. So, and I'm coming from Louisiana, and I'm geeked out about how clear I can see Scott tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. High Speed Scott.
Big news. That's good. It's perfect for the martial arts. Again, my
yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
See how fast you
Hi,
can move
Scott,
it?
low
Did your
drag.
camera keep up with it? Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving.
All right, for our
right.
adoring fans out there who are keeping track for when you 10 years from now, when you want to mark the day that Scott got high speed internet, this is it. When
No,
Scott
just
cleared
regular
up.
internet.
This is-
Everything from now on will be judged by this day.
it's like pre-beard Riker, post-beard Riker. Okay.
Right?
See, Scott calls it high-speed internet.
it
The
just-
rest of us just
sorry.
call it internet.
For us yokels and hillbillies out here in the hills of Western New York, yes, I was working with like the equivalent of soup cans and strings internet. So now I have internet. Next comes indoor plumbing at the Wakefield.
Oh boy!
So
So soon.
just
Very
moving
priority.
on.
That's going to be one of the Kickstarter reward levels. Get you a bathroom in the house.
Buy me a coffee. It's gonna pay for my plumbing. Yeah.
Yes.
Demolish the outhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And three comics later, we can eventually get rid of the asbestos in your ceiling.
Right. Here, get baby steps, folks.
Lead. What's wrong with lead?
All right, the crank handle on my car works just fine. I don't need to replace that. Okay, folks, we have a new addition to the Wednesday Wham craziness, and I'm sure he's going to keep up just fine and set the standard. We have Dean Zachary joining us. Dean, say hello and take your time introducing yourself to all the folks out there. Tell us what you've been up to, what's in the hopper, and all those good things, and where you are geographically. I'd like to know that.
Okay. I'm Dean Zachary, and I am right now in the hinterlands, the suburbs, if you will, of Memphis, Tennessee, some might say, in Jonesboro, Arkansas, which is not too far from where Roland was actually born, in Northeast Arkansas. And it's this sort of countryside where I lived in Memphis for about 25 years. And recently got married and moved out here to the country, and it's nice. We had a little snow dusting today. It was really cool. You know, you can kind of zone out and do creative stuff that way. You know, but my background is much more like Tommy's in the sense of I started in comics back in the 90s, working for Malibu and doing things like The Ferret, which then led to things for DC like Green Lantern, which then became a Batman project, which made my childhood dreams come true, which was awesome. And I did a lot of other things in between, some Star Wars stuff for Dark Horse, some trading cards for Marvel, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, time passed, you know, day job came along, family obligations, yada, yada. And then Roland and I started talking about doing some work together again, and Silverline sort of came alive, and I was working on Cat and Mouse. I did the first issue, Cat and Mouse, which was fun. For various reasons, I had to sort of step away for a while, and now I'm back, and I've got a project I'm working on called Silver Blade, which I'm writing and penciling, and hopefully I can steal Tommy away to ink it. We'll see.
Oh yeah. Still planning. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's in the stages. Roland is in the process of editing my plot. It's already written, so it's moving along. My influences range from early stuff like Bronze Age material, John Byrne, Chris Claremont, Gil Kane, obviously Jim Lee, all through the 90s. A lot of people can see that influence in my work. I'm a line person. I love hatching, just because I just can't stop. Sometimes I overdo it. I don't know when to stop noodling sometimes. But I love the idea of defining form with line. And like a lot of guys, I got into martial arts pretty heavily for about 15 years. The Japanese forms, karate. So I love Cobra Kai, yes. And I'm sorry I missed all that conversation. That would have been fun. But maybe we can bring it up again. Season 3 rocked. Other than that, I'm just glad to be here, and I'm going to just kind of soak up whatever you guys want to talk about. And, I'm glad to be here. Glad you invited me. It's going to be fun.
Can we make a $10,000 patron level where you and Brent throw down?
Absolutely, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
And
No
Curtis,
mercy.
got to get Curtis involved too.
Oh yeah.
That's I mean, yeah.
Lots of fun.
We'll do a take team match. I'm a boxer, so we'll get Curtis on me on one side. We'll get Brent and Zine on the other side.
I can handle
but
drunken
awesome.
boxing.
I can do
Awesome.
this. I can do a lot of
Yes.
this. Can I be somebody's partner?
There you go.
Sure, but you can't stop. You just have to keep
Just
doing
keep on
it.
going, yeah.
I'm just gonna walk
Massage
up to you and
attack.
Yeah. No, that's the untalked about sixth form is nonstop movement.
Yes, absolutely.
So Scott's computer has died. So he's
Wow.
what?
That's what he gets.
After all
That's what
that.
he gets
I'm
for talking about his super fast internet.
Yo.
So I will, I guess, transition us until
Wow.
we can get Scott back in. So
Okay.
for
Did
those
Rory, did you introduce yourself?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You were sleeping during that part.
Yes.
I tell you what.
Florida.
Oh yeah, Florida. Gotcha. Okay.
So we've vamped enough. I do
Oh,
not
wait,
need to
wait,
transition.
I'm looking at a cool piece of art here. Wow, that's pretty awesome. I don't know whose that is.
Yeah. Well, I guess while we wait for Scott to get himself fully plugged into the Matrix, C, can you tell us a little bit about what we're working on?
Yeah, this
man.
was one of the covers for the upcoming rejects. My scanner's not fantastic. This is actually penciled, so I'm just going in trying to fill it in for my for whoever inks it to have a better idea of how it looks.
It does look good.
That looks real good, man.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's sharp.
I always
And-
appreciate a good mustache.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about the story, man. I'm intrigued just looking at the visual.
They're you're dealing with they're superheroes, but they're of course rejects. They have certain abilities that aren't exactly conventional, such as let's say this guy down here has he uses his sideburns, kind of like a Doc Ock kind of way.
Oh, wow. I'm seeing it. Yeah.
This, let's see this right here, up here holding her is her name is Hot Flash. I think you can get an idea on that.
Sure,
Mind you,
sure.
this is Rolling Man, so
Yeah.
Blame him for everything.
yeah. Then you have your Snap-on Man here. It's kind of like your Nick Chomper, I guess. Kind of, he's missing body parts, so he just kind of snaps on whatever. So
Right.
it's kind of thing like that. And of course,
Very
of course, this is their villain, the Rapscallion.
Of course. Snidely Whiplash.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
All right, Scott, are you back with us?
I am
Scott's back. Oh my gosh, he's back.
Sorry about
Okay,
that.
now the rest of us can leave.
Yeah, it just boop, and that. I mean, it's plugged in and all that. I don't know what happened.
So we got internet, but he forgot to pay his power
Yeah.
bill.
Oh,
I'm burning candles. I'm fine.
seriously.
Scott's kid is in the back and was cranking the computer.
He takes out the
A hamster
bicycle.
wheel.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Hey, whatever works. All right, gentlemen, who wants to get the ball rolling? I am going to outright admit, I'm not even going to pretend tonight that I know what I'm talking about. Martial arts is not a world. I did karate till I was about white, yellow. Was there a brown belt? No, wait, brown's way up
No,
there.
white,
Purple?
yellow, orange.
Orange.
Yeah.
I got the orange belt, and then
Nice.
and that's about as far as I got.
Did
You
they
didn't
pick
go
up
to
any,
green, blue, purple. Didn't
No.
go to the green, blue, purple, or the red, brown, black. Okay.
No,
didn't pick up
no.
any McMap when you had the chance in the Coast Guard?
No, in the Coast Guard we learned to wail on people with an
Yeah,
expandable
we
gun.
beat people with objects.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
That's awesome.
shoot shotguns.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
COC.
yeah, and they teach you that to not fight fair. I mean, really, it's
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're fighting,
If the idea
If
is
you're
to
like- yeah.
kill someone, you just-
right. If
Yeah.
your life is in danger,
why would you fight fair? That's what I've always told
you
people.
want to
Like,
win, right? If you
Yes.
want to win,
Yeah.
yeah.
shoot center mass.
Right.
They just poke their head up. Shoot center mass.
So my martial arts knowledge is limited, first of all, and then next, the martial arts characters knowledge. I could probably go with the easy ones to list off, but that's not what we do here. We'll start with the easy, and then we're going to dig deep into the deep tracks of who fights with the martial arts, and if we can't keep on track, if we start to go off the rails, I will take it to marital arts or Martian arts. Okay, so
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
before we get too deep down
We've
the rabbit
been
hole,
warned. Yeah.
in the chat, John Martin says he'll join in our Silverline cage match stretch goal. There's
I don't fight fair.
We're
I
just
don't
gonna,
fight
we're
fair.
just gonna turn this into a Silverline
Yes.
Royal Rumble one year. And Roland wants to know what C's favorite bad guy from Rejects is.
Oh, I have to go with. He's called the dire louse. It's kind of a little strippy kind of character who uses his lice to
Oh, gross.
to
Wow.
fight. So
Okay.
he's real kind
All
of
right.
dirty little guy. I like him. I like drawing him.
Oh no,
Dirty little guy.
What a gross onion.
which discipline or school does louse control fall under?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a
Praying
pest control.
mantis.
Yeah.
Pest control.
So we'll start with the easy ones. Who uses martial arts in the comic book world? In a comic book character uses mostly fisticuffs or choppa-cuffs.
Well, you've got your obvious, most mainstream. Do we talk about mainstream? The
Yeah.
big
Oh
two?
yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Whatever you want.
I didn't want to break any protocols.
We
and
keep
get
it.
put in the fight for fighting corner or anything. So.
We mostly advertise indie, but comics is comics, so we talk
Yep.
about it
That's
all.
right. Okay, so obviously Daredevil and Batman come
Yep.
to mind,
Yep.
immediately.
And
And then if you go ahead,
I was gonna say also we got Iron Fist and Shang-Chi.
obviously.
And
Yeah, I think the Master of Kung Fu uses martial arts.
Something
Something in his
like that.
name.
one might assume.
Yeah.
Iaido and Kendo martial arts, so one could say Silver Samurai.
Okay. One could also say Lady Shiva.
Ooh, yeah.
There's also Cassandra Cain. If you want to get deep into the Batman mythos and go for Batgirl 3,
Yeah.
then over at DC, people don't know as much about the DC martial artists, but I did a pitch with Mike Barron once where we were trying to push a story with Richard Dragon, and which I didn't know much about him, but I did a little research on him too, and Lady Shiva and Batgirl 3. So we were kind of trying to get into the sort of the deeper cut DC martial arts characters, which it was kind of cool reading about them. You know, I'm sure you guys probably have those big giant encyclopedias, like Encyclopedia of DC Comics, Encyclopedia of Marvel, and you dig through. Do y'all have that?
It's
You know what I'm
upstairs.
talking about? Yeah. It's holding up my speakers. Right?
Yeah.
It's but yeah. Anyway, those are kind of cool to flip through. But I don't know, man. Iron Fist like was always my like obvious go-to if I thought, you know, martial arts comic. I always thought either Master of Kung Fu or Iron Fist. So you know, you nailed it there.
Let's see, I'm pulling up a list to see if anyone has any good indies listed because I mean, obviously the mainstream ones because everyone thinks for whatever reason we developed the stereotype the superhero also has a background in martial arts because it just makes sense.
Sure.
They got to fight.
Yeah, but a lot of indies, because indies do not necessarily have to deal too much with fighting. They're not limited to just capes, so we don't. There's not too many kung fu indies that really break out as well as mainstream ones.
Except for Cat and Mouse.
Except for Cat and Mouse,
Yeah,
of
I was about
course.
to say Cat and Mouse.
Yeah, I mean, because when I was giving my input on that with Roland, we were developing it. I was like, let's bring Ninja into it, just because, you know, Ninja comic books.
Right.
And the one cool thing about that was, you know, there's the character of Kunoichi, the actual Japanese ninja. And that was kind of cool because I kind of, when I was drawing her at first, I was thinking, you know, Psylocke without the mutant powers, just kind of, I guess, Culling Wing-esque in a way. And they're just fun to draw too, because you can use visual cues from the particular ethnic backgrounds, you know, and then if you know it a little bit deeper, you know, for the kung fu users, you can get a little more ornate, and then for the Japanese users, you can get a little more streamlined and simplified, you know, go for the Zen quiet design. I don't know, that's a little esoteric, but maybe it makes sense. I don't know.
I like
because I always try to inform my design based on the history of the martial art. I mean, I always use the Todd McFarlane "if it's cool, draw it" filter, by the way, which
Right.
Literally, guys, I mean, I don't know if you guys go through this when you create stuff or draw stuff, but one of the biggest internal tug of wars I used to have, I don't have any more, or try not to, is what I call the realism editor. You guys ever have to wrestle with the realism editor? Well, that wouldn't work because if he had a cape like that, he couldn't fight. Or, oh my God, if he had chains like that around him, and you couldn't even move.
God, if he was wearing that kill too, just
I mean, come on. I mean, nobody does that, you know. And so I learned, you know, I went through the whole Chris Nolan, everything has to be realistic, just like in Dark Knight, you know, and Gotham City has to look like Chicago and all that. I went through all that for a while, reference. And then I let that go and went back to, you know what? Reference isn't fun. I'm sorry, guys. It's like, it's good practice to draw from reference, but man, I'd rather see fins and statues 100 feet tall in Gotham City. And, you know, I mean, am I the only person that wants that? I mean, I like the fantasy elements.
Believe it or not, that's what I liked about the Burton Batmans, and yes, even the Schumacher Batmans was because I know, oh, horrible, but because of that fantasy aspect to Gotham City, it was a different place. It made you feel like you were someplace different, as opposed to like the Nolan Batmans that kind of, you know, you were just in the city somewhere. It could have been anywhere.
Yeah. I like the flavor of that, but anyway, not to go too far off track. Basically, just I finally let go of the idea. And the reason I did was I watched this interview with Todd McFarlane, and he was talking about when he was designing Spawn. And he hit on something that I've discovered when I create characters is you start thinking too much about, is this realistic enough? Would this work as a costume if I sold this as an option to Hollywood? And you just start like changing everything you do. At least I did. And then I saw this interview, and Todd goes, they were asking like, well, how did you like come up with the, you know, the costume for Spawn or whatever they didn't say or whatever, but I'm
Or
just
what?
like, yeah, because it was like kind of a dumb question. And he goes, I just thought it looked cool.
Look
And that
cool.
just stuck
That's
with
the
me
number
like,
one thing.
well, of course.
Yeah,
You draw
yeah.
it because it looks cool, not because it's realistic or he could actually move or it could actually work. Or no, this is comic book world, you know?
Yeah.
That's completely different from like, I want to design costumes for movies. Well, then go design costumes for movies.
Right. And to tie it back in, Spawn use what would be not realistic but looks super cool is him fighting that giant flowing cape. He is a highly decorated Marine who did McMap, a combination of several martial arts, judo, Muay Thai, and boxing. Fighting cape would be super hard, but it looks super cool when he does it. So there's our
Absolutely.
there's our martial art for Spawn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
From
mean,
the
well, don't
realism-
most of the when they fight, you always see somebody drawing this.
Yeah.
Chop.
The judo chop.
Yeah, so
The
they're
judo
all
chop.
they're all doing that.
No,
I was gonna say not to get too into nitty gritty before the time for nitty gritty, but one of the things I do like about watching, it's always the heroes with the big gauntlets that actually do boxing right. Spawn, Batman. You actually see them like have the hand stances correct and actually throw like proper hooks with the elbow out and everything.
Yeah.
So as far as from a Western, I guess martial art, it's a combat sport, whatever. My experience is in boxing, so seeing people do boxing correctly and throw correct form, it's very cool to see that on page. Whereas you have someone like Absorbing Man, who is actually a boxer in canon, and he's mostly doing Undertaker like choke slams.
That's real fighting there.
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of the Star Trek double fist chop.
Very nice.
Works every time.
Kirk move, man.
Yeah.
Kirk
Well,
move,
Dean,
boss.
Dean, didn't you work on a book that was kind of wasn't he a martial artist? Didn't you work on the Ferret?
Yeah, man, he was
Kind
a
of a
martial
martial
artist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that was one of the first chances it was the first chance I got in a color superhero book to actually draw, fight scenes. And I always tried to, if he was throwing a sidekick, to use as close to proper form or, a back fist or a Shudo strike, which by the way, Tommy, that's what the hand thing is. It's a Shudo strike. They are real strikes.
Well, I know
yeah.
because that's the way I fight.
It's a,
Yeah.
it's a ninja chop.
Ninja chop. But so that was cool to do, and I do get real kind of bookish about referencing stuff. If I'm gonna do a judo throw, I look it up online. If I'm gonna draw it, to kind of see, I'm like, where's that Ronda Rousey scene where she really throws somebody down? It does an arm bar. Did you guys watch her when she was at the top of her form and like, oh my gosh, this chick is actually halfway good looking and she's like beating everybody. I'm like, I wasn't even into, the Ultimate Fighting stuff, UFC or anything like that. And I was like, wow, she could be an actress or something, what's her name? Gina Carano. And, but it was fun to watch her because you found out very quickly she's a judoka. So, she practiced judo, but she couldn't box, right? Because once she got hit in the face, that was it. That was the end of it. That was the end of it.
That's my problem too.
Yeah,
Yeah, you look about as good.
Make you go down.
Not the face.
Not the
face. Money maker.
Your Marine Security Attachment had weekly signups for their weekly McMap classes. They're open for all enlisted men.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I love the realism. We've talked about getting it, like comic books is a little different because you can't really get bogged down too much. But like we talked, this is a while ago, R.A. Salvatore and
Yes.
his fighting is awesome.
Yes.
Sometimes it's like, get on with it. The blade he parried and it slid to the hilt and he twisted and took a half step to the left.
Yes.
And sucked.
I think in his books, parry appears more than said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, a good fight scene in a comic book, and when it's a thing, boom, 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 and it's realistic. Man, that's so cool. It looks.
Yeah.
I love it when it's just beat after beat after one. Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, you have to do it like a highlight reel. You know,
Yeah.
you've got to figure out, first of all, with each punch and kick, what point is the most dramatic visually. You know, and if you've read all the how-to books, they're like, you know, past and through for a punch, or rearing back, because you don't want to show the impact. You want to show either way after the impact, or before the impact, that kind of stuff. But it's not only that, but it's storytelling. It's getting the characters from point A to point B. Like if they're on a stairwell, you know, okay, they're gonna be fighting up the stairwell to get to the top so the bad guy can fall off. So you gotta work, you know, you literally have to choreograph the fight like a stunt coordinator would. You know, you got to think about, is this going to move it forward? A lot of guys I'm noticing, and these are good artists, but you can tell sometimes if they're not particularly trained in any sort of fighting style, because they'll do a montage page, right? You know, and it's like, you know, montage, right? So you'll have all the talking head, and then Spider-Man will just be in this really cool pose, and then there'll be a lot of guys flying around Spider-Man, and then he'll turn back and it's back to talking heads. It's like, come on, guys, give us a fight here. Don't just do, you know, I don't know when that happened, was like, we're going to do all the fight scenes off camera, but all the talking head stuff's going to be on camera. Right. Like, what? Isn't that kind of backwards? But anyway, that's just me, because I like, you know, action adventure.
What? And this is the Civil War series, the fight with Iron Man and Captain America. That one's kind of like scared, like like Iron Man's fist into Cap's face and all that, and the shield. I love that in the movie where they kind of like recreated that whole. With Winter Soldier and Iron Man and Cap, and it was like boom, 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 back and forth. That scene was
how awesome was that?
It was.
Oh, dude, and along those lines, we were going to totally geek out. And again, the train is sort of going off the rails here. But one of the pinups I did a while back, it was so funny to watch people react to it, and still at cons. I did a shot of Batman versus Iron Man, right? And in my pinup, some of you guys might have seen, I know Tommy has, it's this worm's eye view shot looking up, and Batman, of course, standing triumphant, right? And he's doing a drop the mic, but he's dropping Iron Man's mask. And then and Tony is at his feet, all crumpled up, and the armor's all beat to crap, you know, he's shrapnel, and you know, and the original title I had for it was really kind of mean, and it was like Iron Man my ass, you know. But anyway,
I'd like to see that.
I'll send it. I'll bring you a shot of it next time. But the point of it was, it's like it was to imply, you know, that in that particular day, in that moment when I was conceiving that pinup, I thought Batman would win, because Batman is a warrior masquerading as a playboy, not a playboy masquerading as a warrior, right? So plus Batman wouldn't have to fight the armor. He would just fire some kind of EMP and disable the armor, and it's over with. Tony, sorry, you can't fight. Boom, you know, you're done. So, you know, so it was kind of that kind of thing. But I fully admit, I'm an Iron Man fan, RDJ fan, big time. No hate for any of that. Love the character. But you know, Batman fan too. So
the movies don't really give us any clue about Tony doing any sort of training, like to
no.
In the comics, you know, he and Cap spar and all that sort of stuff. So
Tony does end up picking up boxing, and I believe also during the Mandarin arc he picks up some
Good call, man, because I didn't that's cool. I didn't know that.
But Iron Man versus Batman would be such an interesting fight, because they're both their superpowers as prep time and money.
Money.
Yes.
And
That's it. Time and
So,
money.
so
You're
who's
right.
who's going to do the most field research by the time they actually fight? Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like Batman's going to pull out some gun. Iron Man's going to call it on a different suit. Batman's going to pull out a different gun. Iron Man's going to pull out a different suit.
Right. But then, when it all comes down to it, if they're just in boxing shorts in a ring,
Oh, yeah.
it's over.
It's Bruce, yeah.
It's over in about a minute.
Bruce.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's
He was
Bruce.
trained by
Bruce can survive
Ra's
a
al
broken
Ghul.
spine, so
Yeah, no, that guy goes over real quick.
so that's a realism thing. Like with movies, like with fight scenes, like talk about realism. It's funny, and like they'll needle down to we're gonna make this realistic, except for this guy's gonna get the crap beat out of him, and an hour or two later he's fine.
He's
Totally
good.
fine.
Yeah.
It's
like I joke
No black
about
eyes.
being hit in the face. Like yes, but getting like a fist to the nose, I'm done.
Game over.
Yep.
Game
Right.
over.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah.
Well, here
And then
okay,
recovering.
there's two reasons for that, because besides the obvious one,
Yeah.
right? First one is, besides it hurts and all that stuff. You get hit in the nose, your eyes water. It's like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
reflex, right? So you can't see. You lose eyesight immediately. Number two, I mean, come on, the impact of that and the shock of that, you're gonna get dizzy, you're gonna be whatever. One thing I loved about Road Warrior is the fights in that movie. Dude is just beat to crap.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I always love that about the first Clint Eastwood Man with No Name, right? Fistful of Dollars.
Oh yeah.
Again, Eastwood's character is like needs to go to the hospital. He's so beat to crap, and he's limping and the whole bit. And so it cracks me up in martial arts movies when they don't like that. You should be really like barely able to stand.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, you should be breathing hard. And a lot of people, I'm going to throw in the Cobra Kai stuff now. It's what it is.
Mhm.
But the one thing I like about it is when those two old 50-something guys fight each other, they get slow and sloppy and tired, and they're leaning over in the corner, breathing hard, because that's what would really happen. You wouldn't be like, okay, good fight.
You mean Jackie Chan can't do all that stuff that he's doing right in a row and fighting for
No.
20 minutes straight?
No.
Let's get.
Still doing?
So I'm going to kind
Oh,
of.
that's disappointing.
I'm going to segue off that and also provide a real life reference. But being realistic with how your impact affects a protagonist. 2 years ago, there was the Muhammad Ali Cup fight. Two Japanese fighters. One of them was the monster Inoue, who I believe he's undefeated right now in terms of professional matches. He just had his second U.S. match. Somewhere in the middle of the fight, he got punched, and the dude broke his orbital bone. So Inoue won the fight with a broken orbital. And he's saying like he could not see anything.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he saw the guy. He saw the guy double, and he's like, yeah, I just had to pick and choose which was the right one and throw my punch there. But if you're the writer and the artist, and you show your protagonists get that beat up to the point where they are not fighting optimally, but you still figure out a way to have them win, how much are you heating up your hero? How much are you building anticipation for like what are they going to do when they're full power the next issue?
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do to kind of build up the tension and the because people want to see our heroes get beat up but not get taken down by it. We want to see we want to believe that our heroes are truly gods among men. That's the whole thing.
Well, of course, and that's part of the mythology is, the hero in many ways defined by how devastating the villain is and how scary. The old myths from the Middle Ages, knights versus dragons, but then updating, Luke Skywalker, the little snappy kid going, what Big's got to go and I didn't get to go, facing Darth Vader. And you're like, oh man, he's going to get creamed. Oh man. And then he does. And you're like, oh man, you got your hand cut off. Oh God, but that's what made the third, part of the original trilogy. That's what made it so good. At least that part, the story of Luke and Vader, because he had gotten beat down so badly, and I think that's an outstanding observation about both writing and drawing a protagonist like that. The more they have to overcome, but also not just externally, but internally as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to have them have some internal conflict and issue. So,
and I only watched the first season of Daredevil, but they did that with him. He got beat up. And there's, I mean, I know lots of people talked about that scene where he's in the hallway and he's like just beating this guy, and then he takes a breath, and then he goes and wails on these guys.
Yes,
I love that. I love it.
That's one of the best examples. I mean, you guys chime in because but Daredevil season 1, the hallway fight, with the wrapped hands, is probably one of the best executed comic to film martial arts fights I've seen. You know, I mean, not in terms of spectacle, that would go to like John Wick or something that's, you know, a little bit more fireworksy, to use that term, but just in terms of realism and still making you go, oh man, you know, God, you know. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, you feel the pain in that whole scene.
Yeah, you do.
Not quite, but it's as best they can.
So you can you contest that in all martial arts genres of comics or film or anything, everything in the end breaks down and all like you will be tired, and it's just how hard can you throw a haymaker?
Which lends a lot to that scene from Daredevil, because it was one long continuous shot, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I mean, can you imagine the calories they burned in one? I mean, in the movie, there's spectacle, but there's also a guy yelling "cut." Go back to your trailer and cool off for a little bit while
order some pizza.
Gives you a nice cold drink before, and the sweat is actually glycerin to make you look like you're sweating. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Charlie Cox worked off a few pounds. I wonder how many times they had to do the take.
Yeah,
because just one missing punch and they would have to quit and start over. It's amazing just to think.
Yeah.
It's
they choreographed that. They must have rehearsed that, 100 times. And then, a lot of it's Charlie. Some of it is his stunt double, who is a tremendous martial artist, but they seamlessly, that I think is mostly Charlie. But when he goes inside a room and it kind of goes off camera for a bit and then another comes out but I was stunned by the professionalism, the editing, like you said, the continuous shot. And I think everybody jumped on board Daredevil primarily because they were blown away by that scene. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but certainly on my part, I did.
That show is firing on all cylinders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How many seasons have they done of that?
3.
Is it done?
Yeah, everything's in limbo with the state of Marvel streaming, kind of picking and choosing where they are.
Well, there's rumors. I don't know if but Charlie Cox is supposed to appear as Daredevil in the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Yes, they confirmed. I believe they confirmed that he filmed his stuff in his left set.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. That's what I said. I think that it's kind of concrete, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is great because I love him. I love him as Daredevil.
Yeah, I was afraid that they were gonna do like DC did with 2 Flashes, the TV Flash and the movie Flash.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Marvel hasn't done that, right? I mean, they've kept Shield completely separate, except for like Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, but they haven't they haven't switched actors.
Chris Evans is both Human Torch and Captain America. And,
well, okay.
and you've heard
it's a 20th Century Fox Marvel. We don't talk about that.
You've heard my want for that, right? We do Battle World and bringing Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
Oh my goodness! Please no. All right. Yes, we'll forget that happened. Now, greatest. I'm gonna put this out here before we're at the midpoint here. Greatest fight scene. It's not a comic book, but it's greatest fight scene ever is Roddy Piper in They Live.
I mean,
fighting and
put him on! Put him on! All right, folks, we're gonna go from that, wait, Brent, you're probably not going to stay through. Your sleepy time, Brent. You got any bombs to drop? I already dropped one.
Brent,
Sleepy
please stay
Oh,
through.
geez.
I got
Are you
questions
gonna
for you.
I will say this.
Yes.
I love comics, but when I started seeing comic heroes in movies, especially the MCU, I saw something I'd never seen before, which was actually seeing karate, like my superheroes doing actual karate moves
Yeah.
in a way that they seemed to land. It took it to a whole nother level for me. Like I literally was watching Captain America be Captain America. It transformed my whole experience. So yeah, I'm loving it in the movies. I will admit I've tried to have my main character in Kalis do some karate moves, and frankly, I'm just not sure how to explain it in the script without like writing 2 paragraphs.
Oh.
I should probably just buy some action figures and just like pose them and take a snapshot. I'm not really at a loss, so.
Good
But
stuff.
anyway, I better go. So thanks everybody else. See you in a week.
Brent, thank
Yep.
you.
Brent,
Have a
can you
good
hang
night.
on
Yeah.
2 seconds into the
Good to
break?
meet you, man.
Stay
Yeah,
safe.
good to meet you.
All right, viewers, internet world out there, we're going to cut to Wayne Hall and his review. And we'll be back right after that. We'll continue our discussion about marital arts and how that affects our lives. All right, folks, we'll be back.
Hi, this is Wayne Hall back again to talk about an indie comic that you can get at your local shop. And I've got a real timely one this week. This is The Recount. It's written by, if I'm recording this in Central Florida, and the writer's name is Jonathan Hedrick, and he lives in what we call the East Coast, which means like Daytona Beach, that area. And this book it's called The Recount for a reason. In the very early stages of this book, and you can see, the President of the United States has been impeached, and he's resigning his office at the beginning. And he doesn't get too far before he is assassinated. And what's interesting is what happens from there is after the assassination takes place, the conspirators turn their sights on all who helped him get into power. By this they mean to kill everyone who helped him ascend to the presidency, including the ordinary citizens who elected him, essentially plunging the entire country into civil war. Meanwhile, the vice president, one of the few survivors of the executive branch, struggles to prevent the nation from descending into chaos. That's the description of the book as it comes out from scoutcomics.com, the company who publishes the series. It's an interesting book because it's kind of timely right now. The things that we're going through and have been going through are reflected a lot in this book. And this is the first of the series, and there'll be several more issues coming out. They come out pretty much monthly. And what's happening is, as I mentioned, the forces who are against the former president and who are against the people who actually voted for him and who helped him are basically out to eliminate that segment of the population. Now, I happen to have met Jonathan Hedrick, who writes this story, and he assures me this is not based on any political party that exists. I know it's easy to think that it might, but he actually had written the script a long time before the most recent election. And of course, you know, anybody who makes a comic knows it takes months to get a comic together and get it out so it can be printed. And that's the case with this one. The first issue, which is the one that I have right here, came out in November, and the other one is the second issue isn't far away. And it's got a lot of interesting parallels to what's happening right now. Interestingly enough, the vice president is a woman, and she's the one that's faced with all this. We come to find out that people in the Secret Service have become part of this group. They're trying to get rid of everybody. She's in the middle of trying to reassure the country when suddenly the group appears, and of course they're hidden real well. You can't see them, but they address the country while she's supposed to be on there. They interrupt the feed and say, by now you should understand how much we control. We're everywhere, it says. President Christensen is the name of the president, admitted to his crimes and was punished. Justice was served, but that was only the beginning, as it says in here. And we get to see all the different people that they're after. And this is only the first book, by the way. A lot happens in this first issue. It's really amazing what's going on in here, and the way that the people struggle to keep their identity secret and things like that. It's just an amazing, gripping story. It's mostly dramatic, although, like I said, when the president gets assassinated, it's that there are spots of violence that happen in the book. So this is it's listed on here for mature readers, so you don't want to let any of the children read this. But on the other hand, this is a book I highly recommend. It's one of those books that I think will always be, it'll kind of be a remembrance of this era, and even though it's not supposed to reflect any of the political parties and people from today, I think we'll still remember some of this stuff as we go forward. And it's just an amazing, amazing story. I mean, the concept that people would go, not only dislike the president immensely, but to go after the people who voted for him and worked with him while he was in office. That's kind of extreme. I mean, we're not seeing that in real life, thankfully. But what we're seeing is there's a lot of frustration in politics right now. And if you want to read a story of what could be, I highly recommend this book. This book is amazing. I've had a chance to read a couple of the upcoming issues, and it gets a little worse from here, shall we say. It's just an amazing, amazing book about what we might see. You know, not to say that it will be. It might be what we can see. And as such, maybe we as Americans will take a step back and take a deep breath and kind of change our mind as to how we're going to approach these kinds of issues. So it's such a well-written story. I think Jonathan did a superb job of putting this together and making this a story that, you know, when he wrote it, he didn't imagine, as he told me, that all this stuff would have happened, and this would be somewhat slightly prophetic as far as the things that's going on right now. So it's one of those books that you can get it in your local shop. If you can't get your local shop, you go to scoutcomics.com and look for the store there, and they'll be glad to mail it to you. Or you can buy digital at the Scout Comics website as well. So let's get to the grades. The writing grade, I got to give an A. Jonathan's done a wonderful job of shocking us and surprising us and bringing the characters to life. Even the bad guys, I'm not entirely unsympathetic to what they're up to. So he does a great job of making everything as real as he can. And the dialogue is fantastic. The pacing moves at a great rate. I'm just convinced this is one of those books that, as time goes along, the Recount is one of those books that people will point to as one that's really great from this era. The artwork is really, really good. I really like it. It's a little craggy, but on the other hand, it matches the subject matter. You know, this is a dark bit of subject matter, of course, and, you know, there are words in this that you probably don't want young children to read. And there are situations, like I mentioned, the president getting assassinated, you don't want your kids to read. But if you're an adult and you're interested in politics in the slightest, I think you're going to really enjoy what this book has to do with. The artwork, like I said, the artwork is good. Like, that's a little craggy for my likes. The face there is a little sketchy. But you know what? It's a very sketchy story as far as things go. So I would give it a solid B+. It's really, really good. The lettering, I think, is really good too. It doesn't, most of the time, it doesn't cover up the artwork. It splits things. I mean, the lettering takes place in a place that lets the artwork do the storytelling as much as possible. So I'm going to give it a good solid B+ there too. Literary merit. I think that in the future, I think people are going to refer to this book a lot. I think even 20 years from now, unless some significant change happens to the American political system, I think this is one we will refer to and go, we really ought to reconsider how we're doing things, or how we are discussing the other side, as it were. Because it really does bring up, in my mind, the kinds of things that we ought to consider when we deal with each other. And I hope people will do that. I think literary merit is an A. Now, fun factor, nope. If I have to give the fun factor, there's a little dark humor in here, very little. But I would give it a C when it comes to fun factor. It's really dark. Overall grade, I would have to give this an A, almost an A+. It's so well put together. It's one of those books that I think this is where the comics experience really excels. This is what the medium is all about. So if you want to get a really interesting book having to do with politics and that has some take on what's going on right now in particular, The Recount is the book that for you. I really highly recommend this book. Now's the time to get on board too, because the second issue I don't think has come out yet. So let your store know you want to get The Recount from Scout Comics. And until next time, keep reading your comics.
Hey guys, Roland killed the Zoom, so I'm gonna hang out here in my personal Twitch setup while we get that figured back out. So we're getting that figured out now. In the meantime, if you have any questions about writing comics or boxing in comics, I'm here to answer those. So this is what my Twitch looks like. Next hour's on me. Hope not. Let's transfer over to some Destiny. That'll be fine. Hopefully everyone's night is going good so far. Yeah, this is exciting stuff. What can we do here? Let me close this out. Let's see if we can just throw this up. There we go. All right, this is. So we got some characters that are my favorite color white. My favorite color is like green, but specifically like a neon green. I think it has something to do with being from a very Irish family, as well as being a pastel goth. So combining the two. Yes, we have. You can see my Twitch skeptical below my face here. And no small part thanks to Royal Airships himself. So this Friday, the 29th, I will be pounding some For Loco on stream. Some of the comics in the docket, we've got Team Beetle coming up. We got Switchblade. Both are available for pre-order now. And soon I will have a Zoom call up here. Switch over to that. I'm going to go blank here.
I'll be back. is
Yeah,
what
I
he
don't know if you saw
said.
my stream, but I just switched over to my own stream dock. And it's just
Yeah, I know. That's pretty fun.
See, I thought when I made you host and I rejoined, all I had to do was leave. And so I just clicked red, right? I didn't know I was in the whole meeting. Sorry about that.
Good. All right.
That's one way to say goodnight.
Yep. That's great. All right, we are live again. Larkin
Okay.
throws up the peace sign. Rory is asking who is working on Wolfhunter. Myself as our writer-creator. AJ Cassetta as the penciler and artist. John Martin as the inker. Roland as editor. And do we have a colorist?
Yes. AJ actually recruited Nick Capone.
Ooh, Nick Capone as colorist.
I think I'm saying his name correctly, his last name. He's the guy who actually colored the Peter Clinton Switchblade cover. Yeah, really good looking cover. So
that cover is so cool.
Yes, it's sweet. So Nick's the one. He's on Wolfhunter.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I mention AJ taking over on Steam Patriots as well?
You just did.
There you go.
Well,
we're live.
no,
It's
live?
yes, we're back.
Tim said we were live. You didn't hear him?
No, I totally missed that.
He said we were live, and I'm like, crap, look at my headphone here.
You look good.
Picking your nose?
Well, folks, we're back. Hope you enjoyed that review. I'm your host.
What happened? What happened? I need to know.
I will take the blame for this. Okay, so I started this Zoom meeting, and then when Tim joined, I made him host, and I rejoined to just come during the break. I rejoined just to chat with them and say, "Hey, guys, just to kill some time, right?" Well, I didn't know that it made, since I started it, I didn't know that it made me the host again when I rejoined. And then when I left, it canceled the whole meeting. I thought I was just a participant when I rejoined.
I think you're telling a big fib. You didn't like what we were talking about, and you wanted to kill it.
Killed it.
It was a review. It was
You
way
didn't
long.
want- No. I mean, you waited for his part to be done, and then the rest of us, you said, "Go home." We are home. So you have to go very far.
What at Silverline is Roland hiding? Find out next time.
You're like NASA cutting the live stream off when UFOs show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, what if the next time we send her over to the Mars, it goes up and you just hear someone scream to cut the monitor.
So I noticed Rory is not back. Is he not coming back?
I saw him on the face,
yeah.
some of the feeds.
Oh, that's right.
Scott sent him the thing. Yeah.
I gotta send him a new link.
Wubba's catching
When are
up
we
with
gonna add him
the
to
nightmare
the,
that is right now.
Yeah, he needs to be added to the.
When
to
he gets
the-
on
to the
social
group
media.
thing.
He's not on Facebook.
He's
so-
a Luddite.
Yeah, I have tried, but Scott keeps reminding me. Yeah, he's not on Facebook. So
All right,
I'm trying to get him on the Discord at least.
yeah, that would be good because we can share out the links there as well.
Oh,
So yeah,
Clayton is waving, saying hi.
Cat are
Walt.
going.
yeah. So yeah, I take full responsibility for this one. As much as I'd like to blame Tim, it's not Tim's fault.
So when it blinked like that, did you think Thanos did this and we all just? Is that what happened? We're dead.
We got snapped.
Me? No, it didn't look any different when I normally leave because I clicked the red button right there that says leave.
Yeah, but
And
we
then-
all got a thing saying session closed.
Okay,
I understand what you got. I'm
I
telling you.
yeah, I knew exactly what happened, so I was just like, all right,
I
Ed,
did
we're going
too.
to my own channel now. I'm just going to say hi.
I appreciate you doing a little bit of cover mine.
All right, folks.
Turned out pretty cool. That was fun.
I'm out of here.
We are.
Let you guys get back to your.
What are you gonna do though? You gonna kill us again?
No, I'm going to click.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I'm going to carefully click my buttons as I go off. You guys
Bye,
return
Roland.
to your. There's Rory.
Hey.
You can explain to him what I did.
It's all Roland's
Leave.
fault.
Now I can see.
was
I
watching.
can see my red button now says leave meeting. And earlier, and when I click it, I'm gonna leave. But what must have happened when I rejoined? I guess it made me host again instead of Tim. So
Yeah.
that's
All right,
my
Tim, be ready for
explanation, and I'm sticking to it. Bye.
Tim, be ready. Be ready, Tim. Did it go?
Oh, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Hey,
We're here. We're still here.
Hey.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the professionally produced and run, always professional show, Wednesday WHAM from Silverline. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you enjoy our banter here and the foibles and mistakes of folks who don't always know what they're doing. Thank you for joining us. We are talking about martial arts in the comic book world.
That's
and
not
we
what
have
you told me.
and we have covered some of the big guys, the Batmans and the Daredevils, and we've delved a little into the motion picture world as well, how that translates over. And joining us tonight, if you're just joining us as a viewer, we have, I'm trying to embiggen my screen here. We have a new person, a new individual. Dean Zachary has joined us. And he has been doing a wonderful job, really knocking it out of the park. Again,
Thanks,
setting that
man.
bar. It's not really high to set the bar. It's hard to set the bar a little higher than our usual show.
Thanks,
but
man.
He's had some great contributions. We're going to continue the conversation. But before I get too far, I want to remind everybody out there that we have a Kickstarter campaign going right now. It is a double feature. That has been our custom of late, to run double features, because we have so many titles coming so fastly and furiously that we need to run them two at a time. And I'm going to try to get to my screen so I can give you a little description. We've got double feature. We've got Teen Beetle and Switchblade, and we have reached our goals. So if you go and back those, we're working on stretch goals. And once this is done Sunday night, these are just about ready to click, print, and ship. So you will get these in your mailbox within a few weeks after the conclusion of the campaign. So if you go to Kickstarter.com and you search for Silverline, you search for Roland Man, you search for Teen Beetle or Switchblade, you'll find these titles. And or if you head over to our social medias, you're probably watching it on one of them right now. We've got links. We've got all the links to our Kickstarter campaigns. And Teen Beetle is about a teen prodigy who draws on scientific power of a long-held secret formula. And of course, the bad guys want to get that from him. It's a superhero action story, full color art, completely finished, ready to go. Switchblade is a story of a boxer who's fed up with the justice system and its inability to mete out justice. And somebody, a rapist, is set free, and he doesn't like that. So turns to a little bit of vigilantism. It's a crime action comic set in New Orleans. It's a little city south of the Mason-Dixon, and released. This is originally released black and white in the 90s. It's been digitally redone, recolored by Aiden Belcher. And this is the first in this crime action story. Of course, it is done, completed, colored, ready to go. You can get Kickstarter exclusive covers. If you go on back this, we've got variant covers, lots of cool artwork. And I always like to beat this drum when I'm talking about indie comics, because that's what this is. You get really cool stuff. Where else in the comic book world can you get these exclusive items and really get your hands on individual stuff and be part of the Silverline family? And that's what you are. You're here tonight. You back our stories. You share with your friends, and you become part of the Silverline family. And we love having you. We love growing our Silverline comic book world with you. And we couldn't do it without you guys out there. So head over to Kickstarter afterward. Head over to Zazzle and look for Silverline. We've got goodies. We've got T-shirts and mugs. And support what we have going on. Support our independent creators. And we got writers and artists of all styles and all. I say skills. I mean pencils, inks, colors, and you're supporting the comic book world, and we appreciate it. So that's my pitch. We are brought to you with support from Daytona Beach Comic Con. Thank you to them. Thank you for their support. And as always, we ask you guys out there, go over to their Facebooks and other social media sites, their website, and like, subscribe, follow, all those things so you can get their updates. And in this strange world we live in right now with restrictions on gatherings and so forth, everything's to be determined is always the caveat for just about everything. So they will have their convention, but follow that so you can get their updates as they come. And we would love if you liked and followed us, because we try to put content out as much as we can, and you'll stay on top of what we have coming along. All right, I will shut up, and we're going to get back to martial arts in the comic book world, and all its permutations and how it translates into visual arts and so forth, and how we draw and great storytelling and what makes good storytelling with martial arts. And I left us with the great movie They Live with Roddy Piper, and the sunglasses and the fight scene, just pure cinematic gold. And we'll leave it at that. There's no room for debate because there's no debating. It's just amazing. So I will.
No,
I said there's no room.
So what we've learned is that Scott has not seen a Raid movie.
My favorite fight scene out of all comic book movies, and I don't know if this really falls under martial arts, was the Kingsman scene in the church.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even sure if that falls necessarily under martial arts.
I haven't seen those movies yet. I know.
Oh, and I get crap for not seeing movies.
No, but that one scene, the
construction site, and
Yeah.
they've done really well with, because he's much more physical than the other James
Yes.
Bonds.
Ooh, yes.
And my wife can't stand the Daniel Craig movies just because she just doesn't like the way he looks, which is good, because he's a fit guy, and so I'm happy with that. She might be like, oh no, he's not handsome at all. So
But that Sean Connery.
That's our next. That's our next stretch goal is to
Pierce
get
Brosnan.
Scott facial reconstruction to look like Daniel Craig.
look like I don't know.
And there was a lot of controversy when they did cast him as James Bond, but it's because he wasn't that classic handsome look to him.
Right. Yeah, more that
But I
But I
fighter.
like it better.
There's controversy with every Bond because Pierce Brosnan's Irish.
Oh,
They were like, oh,
Oh, really?
Can't
Sean
have
Connery's Scottish. They're all, put him in all the
Yeah.
UK.
but they rewrote his background for Sean Connery. Like, oh, he had a Scottish mother. Okay.
Oh yeah. The Daniel Craig. I've enjoyed Daniel Craig. Yeah, he's I want to see the next one so bad, but
I forgot what it used to be called with a B, but kind of go back to including James Bond as well as C's opinion on the fight scene.
Yeah.
I think it's like Baritsu or something like that. But it used to be now it got reclassified all under the system known as English martial arts, which includes quarterstaff, cane.
Holmes?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, right. Or Bertitsu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's,
Yeah, that's
it's,
right.
it's all been wrapped under what is now known as just English martial arts, which includes everything from quarterstaff to cane to shillelagh
yeah,
to,
the Irish
yeah,
fighting, right?
to pugilism. So anything there's now is all English martial arts. You can find manuals on those now.
The difference is we use umbrellas and handkerchiefs.
Oh, Reginald.
The occasional pipe. I was looking for my prop. It's not here. Oh well.
I think right in World War II spy movie, I did not find a way to include a pipe weapon, but Scott, give me an idea for maybe a second volume.
throw a pipe in? Oh,
I
that's
just, the guy pulls a pipe, just
perfect.
pulls it out, and there's actually a blade. Just
it's just spy. Like, yeah, you could put a weapon in there or something like that, or just steal the James Bond cigarette. Put a bullet in the pipe. There you go. Or flamethrower. So
have you guys seen the first John Wick?
I have watched all of them annually.
Okay, so that the fight scene, which could easily be classified as gun fu.
Yes.
Where he's hunting down. I mean, if you guys haven't, most of you have, I'm sure, but to see Keanu Reeves, first of all, committed to doing this type of work. I mean, training to make it convincing on screen. Yes, I'm a nerd. I watched all the making of stuff.
Yep.
But but the way they shot and edited the scene where he goes after the Russian mob, in their lair, in their steam bath or whatever it was, and he goes into the club and he just takes everybody out, and it's like the Punisher, like you're just like, what? Yeah. And I'd never seen it quite done that well. So that's still, that first movie, that fight scene still just stands out to me as like the best movie fight scene I've ever seen, with guns anyway.
We'll have to watch it. I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John Wick.
Yep.
Just
It's good.
watch
No,
that.
I saw
first.
like the very beginning
worth
of it. Yeah, see, everybody tells me that, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure because.
And then in the same,
No, don't be unsure. It's
yeah,
worth it.
it's
No,
great.
dude, I'm
And-
not. I wouldn't exaggerate that because I'm really picky about fight scenes, and that one really impressed me because I can tell. I mean, all of us can tell when they're kind of faking it. Like, oh, he's a dancer, but he fakes martial arts really well. No, no. Keanu, you can tell he got thrown around by real senseis for months before he got on screen.
I mean,
So you can see.
Everything goes to those movies. For the third one, they had like Belgian
Waffles.
No,
Yeah.
but
Somebody had to say it.
Belgian,
Yeah.
but Holly Berry worked with Belgian attack dogs for 6 months before shooting. And to the point where like she could walk in and work with them, but when Keanu walked in, she had to like tell them like, no, don't kill him.
Don't kill him. Yeah, it's amazing. That one's amazing. Also, the Liam Neeson Taken films have some good fight scenes in them. I mean, they got old and tired by the time we got to 3, but certainly the first and second one are really cool in the James Bond feel.
He's getting reminded me of that. Well, no, I guess he's a little bit harder than that. But I was thinking like the Steven Seagal, David Carradine kind of style of martial arts.
Yes.
Oh, David Carradine.
Wow. It just
David
he's
Carradine.
not hitting them; he's just pushing them away.
Yeah. But on the same line of Gun Fu, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the film Equilibrium.
Yes.
Oh,
Christian Bale.
Yes.
Yeah. They didn't. Some of that was you could tell was definitely sold a little bit more for film than actual like fight, but the sound design on that, my god.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I might have to rewatch that because I remember the fight, those scenes being cool, but then like the rest of the film just being awful.
The rest of the film is a Clockwork Orange, but without the fun dialogue.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but
Yeah. So back to comic books, and I had to do a little research, and I'm going to give my good buddy Dan Hosick credit. Dan Hosick, who refuses, he's got to be like put his kids in bed to be on Wednesday night. Yeah, Dan, calling you out, but I'm giving you props here, Dan. He had talked about a fight scene in a comic that I couldn't remember, but it's Batman and Grendel, and it's in
like Beowulf.
The Devil's Rory Devil's Riddle was a 2-part by Matt. Is it Matt Wagner or Wagner? I'm not sure. Is it Matt Wagner?
That's Wagner.
Matt Wagner.
Wagner, and he it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How much is that? 30 panels on one page of just punch, hit, punch, swing, and it's really, really cool. So, I don't know the era of that. Does it, Dean? Do you know the?
That would have been 90s, like late 80s, early 90s.
Okay,
that would have been. Yeah. That's when Grendel was a big deal.
Yeah,
yeah. So it would have been around that period.
I'm surprised we don't see anything of him. They haven't mentioned Grendel in years, huh?
Well, it's kind of like the Way of the Crow. It's that same era of the Crow. You don't really see the Crow anymore.
Yeah.
Well, now you got the Grand Designer in Batman, whose design I love, but he's very much just like he looks like a preppy internet guy as the visibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do appreciate so the arcs I've read of that.
But did you guys see the Immortal Iron Fist storyline that came out? Oh, I guess it was like 10 years ago now. But there's some really well done fights in there where Danny faces off with representatives of different clans of fighters, and he goes to a huge tournament in the mystical city of Kunlun and fights, the master of spiders and the this and the that, and one's like a big heavy set sumo type guy, and then one's like more mystical. And have you guys ever read that stuff? It's fantastic. It's the Immortal Iron Fist, the last Iron Fist story.
It was probably the best one. I haven't gotten to read it, but I've heard a lot about it, and a lot of critical acclaim to it.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna show you guys the cover of the hardback. It was Brubaker and Fraction and
Oh,
David
Oh, yeah.
Asia. Okay, so
Mm.
this was really outstanding. If you missed it, I'm trying to look to see in the indicia, you know, approximately the date of this thing. Put that in there. I know it was probably 10 years ago at least.
2007.
There you go. Okay.
yeah.
And
Yeah, further back than I thought.
for those of you who subscribe to Comixology Unlimited, the first volume is available for borrowing.
Nice.
Right. Thank you for that.
Maybe is that that's not the one where they had the masters together and they were trying to decide on taking the Iron Fist, taking the power from him.
Yeah, the power is, if you're familiar with Nexus, another 80s, the late 80s, early 90s thing, the idea of the Iron Fist became that it is a title and that the power is not just in one person, it gets passed through time.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of did a Highlander thing with it too. So it's like, and there's others that are immortal and that have had the Iron Fist power, and so it was like, we're going to dwindle everybody down to one. It's a fantastic for those of you who want to read a good martial arts story.
See, I'm
It's
thinking
probably
I
the
might
best
have read that.
of them. Yeah, it's
because they re-released a new series for Iron Fist and it just didn't run well.
well, yeah, you have to decide which Danny Rand you're gonna do. It's kind of like we were talking about the TV show.
Yeah.
Why did that not work, guys? I'd love to hear your take about, you know, what happened.
We kind of talked about that a little bit actually before we even went live, but my opinion on it was when it from what I understand, from what I've been told, and from others, I've actually not taken time to commit to it, but my hypothesis is they fail to develop the character. They went from Danny Rand to the moment in the story that'd be the transformation or hypotheosis.
Wow.
And, yeah.
Big word,
I
big
gotta
word.
put my degree to use.
Yeah.
and then he's supposed to be transformed into the Ascendant character who goes on to fight bad guy.
Sure.
John's running this. But from what I gathered, when he hits hypotheosis, he gets powers, but his character does not ascend. He does not develop. He just becomes angry Danny Rand, but with flaming fists now. Like, there was no...
That's a good observation, actually, Tim. That's good. Because the idea with a martial arts based character, and you can even do this if you're going to do immature, youthful character that is still immature, even though he's powered now. The thing about it is a master carries with it some implication of emotional maturity and some wisdom, right? But they wrote the character as such a kind of just an unlikable punk.
Really?
Yeah. So, you know, one, you wake up and realize, no, I've really got to do this and I got to get serious about it. And we didn't have that, like Tim pointed out.
Well, that's and I think as far as the technical level is concerned, they were trying. You know, Iron Fist was the last one before they brought the Defenders, where they all came together, and they were trying to give. They didn't want to have to progress the character that needed that much character development, besides it just being poor writing, to have him connected with Luke Cage and the Defenders, because that's what they're looking at. They're looking at you had your Iron Fist who came in to help Luke Cage in the comic books to create heroes for hire. Luke Cage wasn't doing well. They brought in Iron Fist, and he was a little more playful, a little more peaceful to kind of offshot Luke Cage's, gruff exterior. And I think they couldn't decide on which Danny Rand that they wanted to use, but they wanted to present him with the origin. If you wanted to use Danny Rand, you could have just came in later instead of having the origin story.
Or do the origin in flashback.
And I think that's the only property that you can actually properly do a flashback and it would be good.
Yeah.
Would be that. But they completely sidestepped the mysticism that was Iron Fist. everything. Kun Lao,
Yeah,
but the August persona of Jade, you heard him say
Sure.
this stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, you're going to show us. Nope,
No,
nothing.
nothing.
And
And I think you're right. How cool would it have been to have him literally be sort of okay? The naivete would have worked better had he appeared as a monk who's like been out of the real world for a while and coming into the real world, like, you know, David Carradine in Kung Fu, right?
Yeah.
So you're still a badass and you're at peace and you're centered and you don't understand why people are rude and cynical and mean to each other, but you can still be likable in that role.
Right.
I don't know if you guys read any Green Arrow in the 90s, but there was a younger Green Arrow too called Connor Hawke, who was that sort of naive. I went off to a Tibetan monastery for a while and I got centered and I'm a Zen master. And now I'm back into the rude, nasty world of, you know, fighting and commerce. And I'm trying to figure out, first of all, why do people do this to each other? And second of all, you know, defend the innocent, all that sort of stuff. Be the Boy Scout hero. But from a monk's point of view, I think if they had taken it through that door, he would have been more likable and it would have been more believable. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know.
Absolutely. That's what let's say that's what's missing. Exactly. Tim's right. It is that character development. It was that feel. And you can't have somebody, I'm peaceful 1 second and the next minute I've got these anger issues and I just want to, you know, it doesn't track. It just doesn't.
Right.
They do the naivete well with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles living in the sewers. Yes.
Oh, somebody had to bring it up, huh, Scott?
Right? They had to. The 2003 animated series ruled.
I haven't watched the newer. I haven't done much since the 80s version.
You said 2004?
Yeah, it was. I think it was around then. Correct me if I'm wrong. 2003, 2004 era. And I mean, they nailed it. The style was just realistic enough, but just cartoony and fun enough. But the stories, you know, with Shredder and his daughter and all that, it was cool. I don't know. I don't know. I was experiencing a second adolescence watching.
I heard that was really an excellent version. I never got to watch it. I think I saw the first episode and it was like the first issue of Ninja Turtles. They were really staying true to the as much as you could for a kid show to the comics.
Sure.
Yeah, I think at that point it's supposed to be maturing, just coming off the X-Men's cartoon, and then that came on TV, so that just negated all of my frontal lobe development. Now I'm here.
Hey, it was fun and cool.
Exactly.
You know,
So.
They got real dark with the Nickelodeon one though.
Oh yeah.
Like they ended up at the end of that. No, spoilers for anybody if you want to stop me now. They ended up off in Splinter. They actually killed off Splinter.
No. Really?
No, yeah, but it was towards the end of the series. They did it really well. He actually came back to defeat Shredder because Shredder had also been off and came back. It was weird, but because the thing about it is they gave homage to everything. Everything that was Ninja Turtles, the movie, the series, the comic book, they respected it. Yeah, they respected it. Then they had the other one that came after it, and they lost all respect.
The latest movie, did you guys even try to watch the latest movie, like the live action one?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I tried. I just went out of respect for the property itself, and I was like, what's missing here? And then I don't really, just bad writing, I guess. We can always blame bad writing.
But said is, as a kid growing up in the 80s, you always want to see Bebop and Rocksteady.
Sure.
And then you're like, oh, really? And it was like you followed one of the lamest plot lines in the series, because the second season they were chasing after that crystal that the alien had left behind. It's like, hey, that'd make a good movie. No.
No.
Best movie is the 1990 version. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was not aware that it was Henson Studios that helped with the suits, the outfits. They
didn't want you to know that either.
Right. Yeah, because it was too violent and he did not like his name being associated with But then, like, he makes Dark Crystal, and that's like the stuff of nightmares when you're 10 years
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yes, but it didn't have swords. Well, wait, no,
Yes.
yeah, it did.
Well, that's like the thing when you think about like Crane and Body. Like when you
Yeah.
actually have that movie, like, wait, that's actually nightmarish.
What? Yeah. What is he? Yeah. It's got a little brain and a stomach moving that guy. Yeah.
I think that's what another thing that threw me off about the second movie was you had Brad Garrett playing Crane. It's like, no, it's just a right. It's supposed to sound like this. It's not.
Not like this.
It's like, no, that's not how I picture my disembodied brains to sound.
Before he was a brain, he was a jazz singer.
Yeah. But I had that movie on VHS when I was little, and that's one that I watched 10,000 times.
What's interesting about that is
Be
I thought they made
counterclockwise.
the movie because of the animated series. They made the movie separately from the animated series. Like they were making the animated series, but the movie was already in production to go.
Yep.
They were,
Yeah.
it was an independent film, and it kind of, they were producing it. They were bringing it out from the comic book. Of course, they didn't go as violent. But I guess they kind of did actually. Kind of think of it, Shredder did end up in
Yeah.
strike that. But yeah, it was like because it came out and that was the height of your craze. It was kind of a perfect timing. If you ever watch it on the scene where they're fighting in the street at the end, towards right before they get up to the building, you see in the background there's a dump truck, and you can barely see him. He's real blurry, but that's Kevin Eastman. There's the garbage man.
Very cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Nice trivia. I got a question I want to throw out for you guys. It kind of dovetails into the martial arts and comic movies and so on. Which 90s movie in your mind launched the comic book to film movie craze? Was it The Crow or Blade?
I feel like
Crow.
I have to. Yeah, I'd want to say Crow because I like that property just a little bit better, but I almost want to say Blade because I feel like Crow's popularity came in after it got released to HD DVD. But
Here's how you tend your gardens.
but Blade, I mean, I believe they greenlit the sequel directly off of like theater funding. So I believe like that kind of started the.
Yeah, Blade is longer lasting, but Crow, that cult following will never go away.
I think
I'm sorry. Well, Crow came out in what, 94, 95,
Something
something
like
like
that.
that. And Blade came out in 97, 98. And I think the reason that they decided to go ahead and make Blade because that was, for all intents and purposes, not counting The Crow, the first superhero R-rated movie. Oh, sorry, Deadpool. Sorry, Logan.
Sorry,
that was
Logan.
the
Sorry,
case.
Deadpool.
Yeah, and I think because of The Crows, that it did kind of have a minimal success to it was why they could go ahead and greenlight Blade to bring it out.
Well, when was the Spawn movie made? 97 as well.
Yeah, not long after.
It was the same.
Yeah,
Spawn movie. Yeah.
that was a weird time.
Great idea, low budget.
Yeah.
Should have made it rated R.
Yeah.
Same
So
year
Blade-
as Steel with Shaq.
I think.
Oh,
Blade-
gosh.
Oh gosh! Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Deal with that.
Wow.
So Blade to me sort of set the stage, but then this isn't a comic book character, but then Matrix sort of
Yeah.
launched a whole new genre that was in that vein of Crow and Blade. And then we got, I guess, X-Men 1.
Yep.
And that's when we sort of got the elevated form of cinematic interpretation. It wasn't perfected yet. I mean, we didn't get that till Iron Man, but between that period from X-Men 1 to Iron Man, you sort of had this progression and people were like, hey, I can't believe somebody actually made an X-Men movie that didn't have to explain 150 character backstories and how they all linked together.
We didn't have like 20 minutes on like specifically Ruby Quartz.
Let's not discount the made-for-TV movie Generation X now.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Yeah, right.
Well, I think also
But,
because X-Men was following up also on they had the cartoons that Randy had, the
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men, and then they had X-Men Evolution,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
got all the teenagers and kids in my generation like pumped up on mutants. And then we got the
Right.
movies at the point where we had money to buy movie tickets. Like, oh wait,
Yeah.
this is rad.
Oh, they got you. They got you good.
But
Yeah.
let's be honest. Guys. It was all about Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was
Yeah.
wondering,
Mhm.
okay, are they going to do it right? Are they not going to do it right? And I remember when they cast Hugh Jackman, and we were all going, "Wait, he's like leading man guy.
way
Wolverine's
Yeah.
supposed to be like, short, dumpy, ultimate MMA fighter guy."
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
but it worked.
Yeah.
In a weird sort of way, it worked.
Yeah.
I think probably because it brought in a female audience. You think?
Well, maybe. Well, I think we talked about this on the previous episode, but Wolverine as a audience insert character, because he is just a blank slate. He doesn't remember anything prior to, fighting Sabretooth and being brought in by Xavier. So if you need to explain anything, there's Wolverine for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love the story of Hugh Jackman going to a Comic-Con in Wolverine getup and somebody coming up to him and going, nah, not quite.
Yeah.
Close.
Well, for a long time there, thanks to Wizard Magazine, everybody was pushing for Danny DeVito.
Oh,
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Whoa, what's wrong with you?
We always thought Danzig would make a good.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
Yeah, right. Or an unknown sometimes works. I mean, I know
yeah.
I'm reaching back here, but remember the Rocketeer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't get me
like
started.
great, right? Everybody always gives me that response when I
Yep.
talk about the Rocketeer. It's because it was this brilliant unknown casting, and then
Yeah.
of course you got the ultimate great villain, Timothy Dalton and all that,
Yeah.
and
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly, huh?
Yes,
Mhm.
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. So, but I mean, here you go, and you've got this cast, and then the leading guy is relatively unknown, but he was perfect. So
Yeah.
to find the role, I think Wolverine would have done well to be that. I mean, not to retcon it. I mean, it's fine. It
Yeah.
worked fine. I mean, he played Wolverine for how long? Like 15 years.
Yeah.
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 So,
Did he stop? I think he's still playing.
There's
he
rumors.
probably is.
Let's put it
I-
that way. There's
yeah.
rumors. Uh,
Do we have audio for who? Is this John?
It's John.
where?
Hey, how y'all doing?
John.
Oh,
John!
Where is that?
You're late, John.
I am super late. I got out of work super late. Hey guys. So I'm on my phone right now. So I got out of work super late. I had to go to the store to get food for the dog. I had to get food for my kid. My phone died, so I couldn't even let you all know I was going to be late. My cord didn't work.
sounds
to
like a
charge it.
country song.
You know what they say, when you play a country western song backwards, you get your dog back, you get your car back, or your truck back, you get your wife back. Yeah. So no.
So are you trying to say you want us to start over from the beginning?
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
Tim,
there was
hit
no
it.
way
Roll it
I
or
was-
shut us off again.
Yeah, right. You kind of rolling committee shut us down.
Dean first night because I've been wanting to say hi to Dean for like ever. So Dean, it is a pleasure to meet you. Huge fan
That's-
of your work.
Thank you so
Um,
much. Same here.
I came in when you guys were talking Iron Fist and stuff, but you guys were all on a roll, and I was like, I almost interjected a few times, but I was waiting for y'all to see that I was here. So when they were like Shredder's daughter, I'm like, Karai, because I
know, I couldn't think of her name.
trying to find this. So it's like I will never forget her name. I did have to throw in the name Jennifer Connelly because she's like perfect.
Jennifer
Wow.
Connelly.
Yes.
Jennifer.
Wow.
When you were talking turtles,
Puberty.
the original turtle movie, one of the gentlemen, I think he was Raphael, he could be one of the other three though, don't hold it against me, was a gentleman named Ho Sung Pak. He was actually the martial artist that was inside the costume. In the early 90s, somehow the owner got to know him, and he actually did a comic book with the owner called Ho Sung Pak's Iron Road. They only did a couple different titles under a company name called Cardia Comics. But yeah, so that was kind of like a brush with the Turtles fame there.
That's cool.
That's
was
cool.
great. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. What else? You guys were doing some awesome talking tonight. I was just like,
It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, it's been.
And
who was it that said that the best Turtles movie was the animated one from like 2004?
Dean said that.
Well, he was
said
talking
that.
about the series. Yeah.
The series or the movie?
The series, the animated series that was around 2004.
Okay.
To me, that had a great tone to it. It was just mature enough, but still fun enough. And they managed to walk the line between cartoon and violence with swords, and it worked. I don't know how they did.
What about the animated the 3D animated TMNT movie? Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah.
It was like in the theaters.
Yeah, where they were kind of fighting the Stone Warriors. It had Jonathan Frakes. Was it Jonathan? No, it was Patrick Stewart. I'm sorry. That played the villain or the rich guy. Yeah, it was basically your continuation off of the live action series.
Okay.
It was kind of loosely, like basically Leonardo had left the group and Raphael was running around being Raphael, but something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember it.
The thing about them, that was the last movie that a company called Studio Imagi put out. They're the ones who did the animation, and they were the next. I see Dean nodding. He's like, "Yes, I can validate what this young man is saying." Thank you. They were going to put out next.
Wait, I don't think he was thinking young.
Yeah.
If you guys remember, it's so many different names. United States, we got it in 1978 as Battle of the Planets. Then 1985, it was rebooted as G-Force. Originally in the early 70s, it was Gotcha Man from Japan. My first introduction to anime, my favorite introduction to anime. I've got the laser discs. Oh, when somebody said HD DVD, I almost peed myself because I've got HD DVD players. You guys know I've got like dozens of laser disc players.
Yes.
So I'm like old media. But anyway,
you're the one buying them all.
So Studio Imagi, after TMNT, their next project was supposed to be a Battle of the Planets, based, Gotcha Man movie that looked like that TMNT art, but they went under too fast. If you look on YouTube, you could find some test footage though. It looked really sweet. It would have been really cool. So that's
my first, just dovetailing to that, my first introduction to anime that I really got into was Akira.
Oh yeah.
I remember Akira.
Classic.
Yes.
Classic.
Yeah. In Tetsuo.
Akira. Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was awesome.
The comic store I was working in, because I worked in a couple ones. The one that I was talking about with the Hosung Pack connection, they would play Akira in there all the time, and I wound up buying the soundtrack to that because it was so cool. And just the part of the soundtrack in the store where they're about to go up against the clowns, that was just like, that beat is just, oh my god,
that's
it is
good.
amazing.
Yeah. I'm reliving that now as you say that. The other anime that sticks with me from those a little later is Ninja Scroll.
Oh
yeah.
How cool was Ninja Scroll, man? That was bizarre. It's just so bizarre and unexpected.
Well, kind of just a little bizarre. Like,
you're kind of going, what just happened? But this is still cool. But what just happened?
Should I be watching this kind of thing?
Yeah, it was one of those things.
That's not fun when I watched Claymore. It's like, what?
Claymore.
And now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, I wonder how like the comic store owner like had so many connections, because he wasn't like a big comic book guy. There were two guys that owned the store. One was like a silent partner with the money. The other one was a comic guy. So it was the silent partner who wound up taking it over eventually, which rolls into Dean talking about like your first introduction to anime. Made me think of my first published work ever. If anybody wants to track it down, it's worth nothing now. But if I find it,
now
left later because they'll be written on. There was a book that came out called Manga Newswatch Quarterly. So this would have been in the early 90s, done by a gentleman named Mark Panacea. Mark Panacea.
Yes.
If anybody knows that name, he's a big editor at Marvel now.
At Marvel, yeah.
Yep. So Dan, the comic store owner, knew Mark somehow, and Mark had been self-publishing for a long time. He had a company called Pyramid Comics. Then he did this one, I think it was underneath New Media is what he called it. And so the first issue, it was all about like interviews and news clips. And I did my first published thing was a review of Robotech 2: The Sentinels. And then for another issue, I actually, and this is like when like it was phones and everything, I got to call Tim Eldred and talk about Captain Harlock and his work on that.
Oh,
wow.
I literally almost threw up as I was dialing him. I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my God, it's a comic book. And then true to my form, and y'all have known me, on here for about a year now. Like I said, the wondrously tardy John. The next review that I was doing for Mark was a review on Vampire Hunter D. And that got turned in late, so he had somebody else do one, but he was able to squeeze mine into the same issue. And he's like, and here's an alternate take. And I'm like, oh, thanks for putting that in there. That's cool. Even though it was super late. So, but yeah, so that's kind of some of my early times with some of that stuff. Oh, and the other thing, I don't think I've ever mentioned this here. Sorry, I've kind of taken over. I missed you all. I missed you all so much. You guys mentioned Wizard Magazine and everything that Wizard gave us. Do you remember Hero Illustrated?
Yes.
Okay, Hero Illustrated was put out by a company called Sendai Publishing that was housed out of Lombard, Illinois. So the comic book store I was working in that I've been talking about all day, they had another location in Yorktown Mall, also in Lombard. So all the guys from Sendai, and they also did like EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, they'd come in, they'd buy the comics from us. That's where I was like, oh, they got Gotcha Man laser discs, because some guys were buying those out of previews. I'm like, I'll never have that money. They're the ones who put out Hero. And it was actually kind of cool. I got called in for my first professional interview when I was in college from the owner of Sendai, who had, I want to say it was a Lamborghini. It was one of those high-end cars. And they offered me the assistant editor job on Hero Illustrated before it came out. So like before it even launched, they offered me assistant editor. I was in college, living at home, rent-free. My parents said, no way in hell. I'm like, I could take classes at night. I want to do this. So I did not take the job, unfortunately. Fortunately, the magazine didn't last as long as they wanted it to. Neither did the company. So,
but if you were there, John,
what's that?
If you had been there,
I could have been that deciding factor, and so since it's not like a thing anymore, one of the things that they did share with me during the interview, they didn't have the name Hero Illustrated yet. They were going to originally call themselves Warhawk, because Warhawks kill wizards.
Oh boy!
That was what was told to me. So I can neither confirm nor deny. I have not Googled it since like Google's been a thing. But yeah, so
to bring us full circle
and like share what?
Can we let C. Michael say goodnight and
I'm shutting up now.
Talk himself.
No, I don't want to. I don't want you to shut up.
Oh, no, please.
Say goodnight and then
say goodnight
and sign off.
I have to go watch some anime with my daughter so. Good night. Of course, I'm C. Michael Lanning. Look for me on Facebook Wednesday night here. Other stuff. So just
your Friday show.
Friday show weekended at 11 Eastern, 10 Central. Every Friday, and comics news brunch, book brunch on Sundays.
You and Tommy,
you have unlimited mimosas.
You want to do that whole Tommy thing now?
Tommy, you and Tommy teased. You're teasing us.
I didn't know I could say anything, Tommy. So can we say anything?
Yeah, say it.
Oh, well,
big news. Say
it. we seen.
See, Michael and I are getting married.
Yay! Since
we're both married anyway.
Coming to Florida Disney World from Cinderella Castle. Tommy is now the new inker on the Rejects.
All right.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Nice.
So
there we
go.
We'll
be showing some of that stuff probably in the next week or two.
Yeah. We'll be seeing it. Awesome.
We be sitting there during the live stream. You see me going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I drew it that way."
Yeah.
Well, then you can tell me how to fix whatever you need me.
It's a match made in heaven. All right, thank you, C. Michael. Go enjoy some anime. Thank you for being here.
All right, love you. Bye.
But Tim, you were
bring us back full circle. John mentioned Mark Panicia, who was an editor at Malibu Comics. Malibu Comics from 1994 ran a Mortal Kombat series, Mortal Kombat, a series entirely on martial arts and fighting. I am Sub-Zero. This has been Wednesday Wham.
All right, guys, it is
Put your
5
mask
after
back
11.
on.
It's 5 after 11. We're gonna get charged overtime here. We can't.
Yeah, we can't.
Oh,
do
we got to
that.
clock out. Roland will not give us time and a half. So, John, we know you have so much. We have so much wisdom,
The
so
knowledge.
much knowledge.
The knowledge.
And we,
I've missed Wednesday Wham.
I know.
I've missed my Wednesday night buddies.
we
And
love
like I
you.
said, there was no way I was not showing up. At least for a little while. Say, hey Dean, welcome aboard. Can't wait to talk to you more. Your work is fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
And Tommy, oh my God, I missed you. Scott, I missed you. Michael, I missed you. And everybody that logged off already.
So, John, maybe next week's topic will be let's just let John talk.
There you go.
So many words.
Can you prepare?
Wait a
PowerPoints?
minute. Roland just sent me a message. He said that the rest of us can go, but we could leave the stream going for John. So he can... Hi, John. You can take it over. We'll talk to you later.
A day, one class, 5.5 hours a day I had to engage with. So I kind of got the gift for not shutting up. Or
All right, we'll start wrapping up here, and I'll let you guys sign off, and then I'll say goodnight to everybody. Okay, so John, why don't you go ahead and introduce and unintroduce yourself for all of our adoring fans out there.
Wrap it up.
Everybody, it's a wondrously tardy John Medic, writer, editor, former publisher for Sniper and Rook, which is now where they belong, at home with Silverline, working on a Silverline crossover project. That's a dream come true with my buddy Bill Mouse. 2 issues are done, all but colors. We need to get issues 2, 3, 4, and 5 done before we're really going to pitch that. But that's going to bring a whole new world to the Silverline universe. It's
I
going to
can't wait to see it. It'll
Yes,
be great.
yes,
Yeah.
exciting. Rory, go for it, and then Tim, Tommy, Dean, Rory, that's you.
Oh, there's a comma there.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rory Boyle, co-creator of Steam Patriots, coming soon from Silverline. You can find me anywhere you can find Scott Wakefield.
We're another match made in heaven.
Yes.
Because you're moving away from Florida into Scott's house, right?
Yep.
Yep. Backyard.
There you go.
I'm just
Got
gonna
a tent?
pitch a tent.
Perfect.
There's plenty of room. All right, Tim TK.
I am Tim TK, the associate editor here at Silverline and writer/creator for Wolfhunter.
You say writer and creator?
What? writer and writer for Wolfhunter. And I also help edit our monthly blog series Craft. You can find me on all the socials at Tim TK Writer, on TikTok at Tim Doesn't TikTok, and I'm here on Twitch at AgroBacon, where I will be streaming Destiny 2 later tonight.
2 G's.
Sir.
2 Gs. And thanks to some members of the Steam Patriots development staff, we have hit our sub goal. So this Friday, I'll be getting Schwasty on stream.
Can you do that legally?
I don't know what that means.
Okay, all right.
Schwasty, you kids.
All right,
Put on
Tommy.
a party hat. Thomas Floramonti Jr. Of course, you spell Florimonte because Scott wants me to spell it so everybody can look it up. Just go to mostly on Facebook. Just look me up. You can also go to infernostudios.com to see links to pretty much everything. Also didn't mention earlier that I'm the co-owner of Kablam Digital Printing. So if anybody needs comic books printed, come to us, and because we're the #1 comic printer in the world.
In the universe.
World.
In the multiverse.
But that's it.
It works. All right. Well done. And Dean, thank you. Go for it.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I'm Dean Zachary. I am the writer and creator of the upcoming Silverblade for Silverline, and looking forward to working with you guys, visiting with you every Wednesday night. You can find me at the usual place on Facebook, Dean Zachary Artist, and of course here. And I'll see you next week.
You are a welcome. You are a welcome addition. Thank you. It's been great having you. And My name is Scott Wakefield, and I am writing and working on Steam Patriots with Rory Boyle. And before next week, we'll figure out how we're going to work ninjas into colonial America. I'm sure we can do it. So find us on Facebook.
Gotta learn them to do this.
Facebook and Instagram, that's where we are. And folks, go over to Kickstarter before Sunday and grab your copies of Switchblade and Teen Beetle. Independent comics, awesome stories. Those stories are going to continue as time goes on with Silverline. Support the independent comics. And thank you, Daytona Beach Comic Con, for your support of Silverline and all of our viewers out there. Be sure to comment, like, follow, subscribe, all those things. You know what to do. And we'll try to get back to your comments. And we love having you as part of the Silverline family. And gentlemen here that are left over, thank you for your participation. And we're going to sign off. So before we go, we're going to say, as always, make mine.
Silverline.